Siddharth, the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister both trying to temper expectations, saying we'll be back later, that's when we'll present the Big Bang budget. But we've seen in the past two interim budgets, the finance ministers at that time, Chidambaram and Piyush Goyal, did what they could to try and score some political points.
And I think more of that will continue to happen. But the big point that the Prime Minister said, Disha Nirdesh, that was what he said yesterday. And it's clear that the policy direction will be the key. One point, Rahul, that we have to imagine, under Modi and 10 years of Modinomics, we have seen the size of the central budget go up from almost 14.6 trillion to 45 plus. So the government, its spending capability, its tax collections, and therefore the ability to continue to expand the welfare state has gone up very, very significantly. On that count alone, at least 4 times. And the two key things that the markets are looking for in terms of policy continuity. The markets have baked in a return and a third term for Prime Minister Modi. What will the government say on capex? What will it say on the borrowings that it wants to undertake this year? And also about fiscal consolidation. These are the 3 key messages that the markets will be waiting for. Pretty much in minutes from now, when the markets open, we'll see a reaction to this, apart from whatever else is happening, Rahul.
Saurabh, your take? There was a time when the vote on account was taken almost as a formality. You didn't even need to do extensive programming around it. What do you think has changed? Why is it that in an election year, every budget is now looked at with a sense of anticipation that perhaps didn't exist before? What's changed in the political mindset, or is it in the way markets and the financial world looks at everything that Narendra Modi does?
No, Rajdeep, you're absolutely right. I think if there is one thing which characterizes the Narendra Modi government, it is that this government does not want to miss an opportunity. It does not want to miss an opportunity to showcase what it has done. If you look at the G20, the way it has been, they did it. And also, if this is the last interim budget before the election after 10 years, I see that, of course, as the Prime Minister said, it would be directional, but I do believe that there will be an effort to say what all has been achieved over the last 10 years. And if you see, this is a sweet spot. At this point, India is in a sweet spot, and that's something which the government and the budget will be wanting to re-emphasize when the Finance Minister takes
There are a few things which are very clear by now in terms of how Prime Minister Modi and under his leadership, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman have been handling the budget. Siddharth, one, they don't like too much flashiness. It's conservative. Even at a time after the pandemic when top economists globally were saying, open your purse strings, go all out, the Finance Minister resisted that populist temptation and stayed reasonably conservative. Secondly, it's incremental. Whenever he's tried big bang reform, whether it was on land or on farms, it's always backfired. So he prefers going step by step. And he's, to his credit, the IMF came up with its macroeconomic outlook for the world. India is driving 16% of global growth this year.
In terms of the broad philosophy, the Prime Minister obviously sets the tone of the political inputs that go into any budget, and that is taken for granted. The point that you spoke about fiscal rectitude post-COVID, I think that was more a response to the belief that the government and policymakers at that time didn't know what would be the lasting impact in terms of revenues. Remember that there was a huge dip as far as government revenue collection was also concerned, because most industry had shut down, and that therefore was also a reflection of the fact that India cannot spend beyond what it has done. And if we see the subsidy initiatives of Prime Minister Modi, Rahul, you would recall that the Give It Up campaign when it came to gas subsidies, that was very, very successful. We can link it to JAM. But the key point is that we have consistently seen through many of these actions by Prime Minister Modi that he does not believe in spending borrowed money. But the size of the government of India is so big that the borrowing number has kept expanding, and I don't know whether we will see a day where the borrowing number will actually go down, because central government spending and state spending continues to balloon.
You've got state governments, though, Siddharth, who have been, particularly opposition-ruled state governments, which are complaining that they're not getting enough of the kitty. Do you believe that's a fair argument? You've got states like West Bengal saying our Manrega funds have been stopped. You've got other states saying that Kerala has been raising these issues. In a sense, has the federal project taken a bit of a hit in the last few years?
I don't think so, because it's very difficult to make blanket statements on this. In certain instances, without reference to a specific state, there are caveats or conditions for some of these centrally funded schemes. If that implementation doesn't happen, if the report card doesn't come on time, or if there are other complaints, there is an automatic mechanism that kicks in. But we will see this question and these allegations being answered through the 16th Finance Commission, whose members have also been announced, and in fact a very good body of people who will be at the 16th Finance Commission. I think the federal project, some bit of that answer, Rajdeep, will come from the recommendations of the 16th Finance Commission in 2025.
Okay. Subhash Garg joins us. He's been involved in the process of making several budgets. Morning, sir. Thank you very much for coming back again. If you were in the finance ministry looking at the build-up to this budget and the fact that this is an interim budget, what would you want our viewers to keep their eye out on? What would you be looking out for the most?
See, any budget always is meant for basically serving two big objectives. One is how do you sort of push growth. The growth results into incomes, prosperity for the country,